Focus on yourself and stay silent in 2026. Why silence and self-focus will define 2026 is not a year that rewards noise, overexposure, or constant self-explanation. It is a year that quietly favors those who know when to step back, observe, and refine themselves without announcing every move. In a world flooded with opinions, updates, and emotional reactions, silence becomes a form of intelligence. Focusing on yourself in 2026 means withdrawing your energy from distractions and reinvesting it into growth that does not need approval. This is not about hiding, it is about preparing. The strongest transformations rarely happen in public view. They occur in quiet moments of discipline, clarity, and intentional action. The hidden cost of always explaining yourself. Many people unknowingly exhaust themselves by constantly explaining their choices, goals, and emotions to others. Explanation often invites judgment, misunderstanding, and unnecessary debate. Not everyone needs to understand your path, and most people are listening only to respond, not to comprehend. In 2026, staying silent is a way of protecting your mental energy. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop negotiating your worth. Silence removes you from pointless conversations and allows you to stay aligned with your long-term vision instead of defending short-term decisions. Wise silence is often mistaken for weakness. Silence is frequently misunderstood as fear or lack of confidence, but in reality, it is one of the clearest signs of inner strength. Weakness reacts instantly, seeks validation, and needs reassurance. Strength pauses, observes, and chooses its response carefully. In 2026, the ability to remain silent in emotional moments will separate those who are controlled by circumstances from those who control themselves. Silence is not absence. It is presence without chaos. Focusing on yourself without becoming selfish. Focusing on yourself does not mean abandoning others or becoming indifferent to the world. It means understanding that you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you prioritize your health, discipline, mindset, and skills, you become more stable and reliable. In 2026, self-focus is about responsibility, not ego. It is the decision to work on your flaws instead of pointing out others, to improve your life rather than comment on someone else's. Danger of talking about your plans too early. Sharing plans prematurely creates the illusion of progress. When people talk about what they are going to do, they often feel a temporary sense of achievement that reduces motivation to act. In addition, opinions, both positive and negative, can alter your confidence. In 2026, silence becomes a strategy. When you move quietly, you stay connected to your purpose rather than people's reactions. Action thrives in privacy. Results shine in public. How silence builds psychological authority. People who speak less are often observed more carefully. Silence creates curiosity, respect, and authority. When you do not rush to fill every gap with words, others are forced to interpret your actions. Instead, in 2026, psychological authority will not come from loud confidence, but from calm consistency. Silence allows your presence to speak before your words ever do. Emotional discipline. The core skill for the year ahead, the ability to control emotional reactions, will be one of the most valuable skills in 2026. Silence helps you pause between stimulus and response, giving you control over anger, frustration, and insecurity. When you stop reacting instantly, you stop giving others power over your emotions. This discipline strengthens relationships, improves decision-making, and builds self-respect over time. While you don't need to announce your growth or healing, growth does not require an audience. Healing does not need validation. In 2026, personal development becomes more effective when done privately. Announcing every step of your healing process can invite unwanted opinions and reopen wounds. Silence allows you to rebuild without pressure. It lets you define yourself by who you are becoming, not by what you are recovering from. Learning to observe instead of react. Silence sharpens awareness. When you stop reacting immediately, you begin to notice patterns, people's intentions, repeated behaviors, and hidden motives. In 2026, observation will be more powerful than confrontation. By staying silent, you gather information that helps you respond wisely rather than emotionally. Observation turns experience into insight. The relationship between focus and freedom. Focus brings freedom because it eliminates unnecessary choices. When you focus on yourself, your priorities become clear, and distractions lose their grip. Silence supports this focus by reducing mental clutter. In 2026, those who protect their attention will outperform those who constantly divide it. Focused energy compounds. Scattered energy drains. Why you should let results speak for you. Results are permanent. Words are temporary. In 2026, success will be the most effective response to doubt, criticism, or disrespect. When you stay silent and consistent, your progress becomes undeniable. Results do not argue, they reveal. This is why silence paired with action is unstoppable. Handling misunderstanding without defending yourself. Not every misunderstanding deserves correction. Constantly defending yourself keeps you trapped in other people's perceptions. In 2026, emotional maturity means allowing time and consistency to clarify your intentions. Silence gives truth room to surface naturally, without force. Building self-trust through quiet, consistent trust is built by keeping promises to yourself, not by convincing others. When you focus on your own progress and reduce external noise, you begin to rely on your own judgment. In 2026, this internal validation will be more valuable than public approval. Silence strengthens your relationship with yourself. How silence filters out fake connections. When you stop sharing everything, only genuine connections remain. Silence removes performative relationships and exposes who truly supports you. In 2026, fewer but deeper connections will matter more than wide but shallow social circles. Daily practices for silent self-improvement. Silent growth is built through consistent habits, reflection instead of complaint, learning instead of arguing, planning instead of announcing. These small, quiet actions shape identity over time. In 2026, discipline will outperform motivation, and silence will protect discipline. Why inner power will matter more than external validation. External validation fluctuates, but inner power remains stable. Silence helps you disconnect from praise and criticism alike. In 2026, emotional independence will become a competitive advantage. When your self-worth is internal, nothing external can destabilize you. Becoming unrecognizable without explaining how. True transformation does not require explanation. In 2026, the goal is not to impress but to evolve. When you focus deeply, stay silent, and act consistently, you become unrecognizable, not because you announced change, but because you lived it. Silence completes the transformation by keeping it pure and undistracted. Let 2026 be quiet and powerful. Let 2026 be the year you speak less and build more, react less and observe more, explain less and become more. Silence is not absence, it is preparation. Focus on yourself, protect your energy, and allow your results to introduce you when the time is right.